David Batty, and for England to come to terms not so much with the fact that they're out of the World Cup, but with the way in which they departed.
What can you say about such an heroic performance?
Well, you've said it. It's a bitterly disappointing dressing room, but in many ways I've told them that, you know, when they walk out of that dressing room, they've got to put their chest out and their chin up, because they gave us absolutely every ounce of energy and a performance that the nation should be proud of, quite frankly. How it's twisted and gone against us, you know, I just do not know, because there's some strange decisions. We're not going to make excuses, but, you know, there was a definite handball on Alan Shearer, a challenge in the penalty area. And we still can't work out, if he books David Seaman, why does he not book or even send off the guy when he brings Michael down? But at the end of the day, this is not a night for excuses, as I've said. It's about, you know, a team that have absolutely given everything for their country, and all the staff, and all the backroom staff. It's been a pleasure to work with them, and it's just a very, very sad night for everyone.
I would imagine some of your players are inconsolable at the moment. What can you do for David Beckham, David Batty, Paul Ince?
Well, them lads, you know, they should still have their chins up. I mean, you know, we went down to 10 men early in the game, and we played like we did. I mean, we looked at times we looked even stronger than the Argentinians at some stage. We kept taking the game to them when we could, when it was right to. Obviously, with Sol's goal, we felt, I mean, I haven't seen it yet on the television, but I don't know if it was a foul, but we felt that that was maybe the turning point. But I'm pretty sure, you know, in my heart of hearts, if we'd have kept 11v11, we'd have won that game tonight without a doubt. There's nothing, no blame. We're not blaming people. It was a silly mistake from David. He's young enough to play again in what will be a more experienced side, you know, 4 years' time. And he has to learn that lesson. It's a hard one to take. But there's no blame putting on anyone's shoulders. This is not a night for blame. It's a night for looking at the performance. And, you know, what, you can't blame people for missing a penalty. They've given everything, and, you know, it could have been one of their players at the end of the day.
I thought we had to play 12 men tonight. I thought the referee was horrible. I thought at times he gave us nothing. He gave us a mountain to climb. For some reason he disallowed a goal. For some reason he hasn't given us a penalty in the second half when the lad handled it when I've gone up for a header. But it's all ifs and buts now, and we're all disappointed.
I feel a little bit shocked, because the way we were performing, I never thought we weren't going to go through. I really didn't. Even when we got to penalties, I felt that they were the side with 11 and we had 10, and mentally and psychologically we felt really strong and up for it. So it's been a shock. I think it's a shock to everyone. It really is, because we felt so positive out there, even when it went to penalties. And, you know, David makes the save, and the balance comes our way. And then obviously it's down to, you know, it's just pure luck at the end of the day, and it's such a sad way to go out of the World Cup.
There's no blame attached to anyone, not to David Beckham, not to Paul Ince or David Batty. We're in the side as a team, and if one misses, we all miss, and we all feel exactly the same, which is we're a bit dejected at the moment, but what can you do? Life's got to go on. We've worked so hard, we've worked our socks off, we've prepared in the right way, and as I said, we should be proud of ourselves and walk out of this stadium with our heads held high and be proud to be English.
This is a stage that everyone wants to play at. If you rate yourself as a decent footballer, you want to pitch yourself against the best, and hopefully I've gone a bit of the way to proving that I can match it with some of the best players in the world. So it was a great experience for me, and hopefully I get a few more.
You have had to grow up quite quickly. Any tears over the last hour or so?
Yeah, I was really upset that we lost, as were a couple of people. But life goes on. We've got to start the new season with our clubs now, and everyone's going to be looking forward to that in a couple of days.
David, the heart of the nation goes out to you. What can you say about that heroic England performance?
Well, I mean, it had everything, didn't it? I mean, we were down to 10 men for a long part of that game, and you know, everybody were men out there. Everybody stood up and were counted, and we're putting a, you know, no disrespect to Dave, but I think you know, the lads came out of their shells, and there were real men out there, and we're putting a really great performance after that.
When it went to the penalties, it's such a cruel situation, isn't it?
It is, but I mean, you know, you know what the position is before you step up and take pen, and you know, Gaffer came and asked me if I wanted to take one, and I just said yeah. You know, there were no negative thoughts whatsoever. I was 5th down on team sheet, and I just envisaged myself taking the 5th one and putting us through to the quarter-finals. You know, there were no negative thoughts whatsoever. So, you know, I'm disappointed it didn't work out right, but I'm pleased I took one.
I'm sure your teammates were the first to come over and lift you.
Well, I mean, it's happened to a few. You know, Gareth Southgate, the obvious one, but you know, there's not a lot anyone can say to you. You know, I mean, tomorrow I might be replaying it over in my mind, which, you know, if I'd only just put it other side at keeper. But, you know, even now I'm quite positive about it. You know, we're putting a great team performance. You know, towards the end of the game we were up against it a little bit, but that was to be expected. You know, everybody gave everything. They were really tired, and you know, it's just unfortunate the way it ended tonight.
I'm sure England supporters will say, please don't get depressed, don't get your head down about this.
Nah, well, not all. I mean, like I say, I'm glad I went up there and took one. There were no nerves whatsoever, even though it's the first time I've taken one in professional football. There were no nerves at all, and you know, they were just positive thoughts. I just expected to stick it back at net.
Well, you can leave us to get depressed. Ali, Mark, Jimmy, tremendous disappointment, and yet again, Jim, we've lost on the dreaded penalty shootout.
Yeah, and we're feeling as sad, not perhaps quite as sad as the lads who took part, because I think they did give everything. And I think the whole nation will understand how they feel. My big disappointment was that it was such a good first half, 11 against 11. I mean, it was a wonderful half, demonstration of football skills, courage, you know, all that you hope to see, excitement, goals, arguable decisions. It had everything. And then the sending off, which I didn't agree with, well, it changed the whole nature of the game, and it made it, a wonderful glory, if you like, defensive operation. But that wasn't what we might have seen in the second half if it had been 11 against 11. No one knows. But that, for me, is the big disappointment. We failed to get the second half that we might have got, which could have been even more dramatic in his way, in a good footballing sense, than the first half.
I think we'd all echo that, Gary. I think the other thing as well, we have to make the point, is that the problem then down to 10 men is you're asking Owen to play right side of midfield and dovetail with Shearer when, I mean, the lad in the first half was just sensational. I mean, it's the best performance I've ever seen from an 18-year-old in a World Cup. It was just brilliant. And it was going to destroy them. You could feel it coming. And the fact they had to ask him to play down the right side in the second half, then you maybe had to have Shearer to play that way. There was no possible way, apart from one time in the second half, where Owen actually got free. And I think that is the greatest disappointment for England. Forget about penalties. It don't matter about penalties. They're as good as Argentina over the hour and whatever, it was over the 2 hours. So, but that thing, I think just that single point when Beckham got sent off, the fact that Owen was taken from his really outstanding role was a great problem for them.
Ali, neutral Scottish observations?
Well, I'll tell you something. I've never watched a game that's been as gripping and exciting. Game had everything. The penalties. First one was for me, second one wasn't. I don't know if the free kick was. Goal of the tournament for Owen. Sending off was a disgrace. It had everything. I haven't been involved in a game that's gripped me so much in a long time, and it just has so much in it. It was a tremendous game. But the one thing I loved in the post-match there, I loved listening to David Batty.
Yeah, very strong.
Because don't get me wrong,
brave.
he's hurting inside, but I thought he was absolutely magnificent, and he was a credit the way he handled it, because he was hurting, make no mistake about it. But I just thought he said, I'm going to be the man that's interviewed, I'm going to get my chest out and I'll get on with it.
Right, let's have a look at some of the major incidents in the game, Jimmy, of which there were many. Let's try and do it chronologically and start with the Argentinian
What
penalty.
a dramatic start there. Penalty decision. You can see the foot there of Simeone hooking round the groin. Just watch it here. Now, did that go there accidentally, or did he find something to trip over, you know, in those circumstances? Now, that was what the referee is being asked to decide. He did it exceedingly well. Seaman gave him the chance to do it, and I think we'd probably all say finally that maybe he gave the right decision. But the guy still fell. Yeah. He still looked for something to fall over, found it, and fell over and got the penalty.
Stonewaller, Gary, in my opinion. I think it's a stonewall penalty. I don't think the goalkeeper should have came for it. Yeah. But the most disturbing thing after it was Simeone's reaction. He jumps up and throws that as if an imaginary card.
As if a penalty's not enough.
I mean, it was a disgrace, and I think it might have been the same player that was involved in Beckham and the sending off. He basically has given football a bad name. Trying to get somebody a yellow card doesn't do anything for me at all, Jimmy.
No.
Mark, well, if that was a penalty, well, Michael Owens looked rather dubious.
I think it was extremely dubious. In fact, I just don't think it was a penalty, Gary, and came with an obvious referee, in his wisdom or not, decided not. There he is at full pace, and the Argentinian defender, really, Ayala, he's got his hands up. He's trying to get out of the way, but it was gladly taken.
Good finish from Alan Shearer. But, Jimmy, you criticised Simeone for throwing himself down. Would you equally criticise young Michael Owen for that? Or say, well, if they're going to do it, why don't we do it? We can't be Mr. Nice Guys and lose all the time.
Yeah, now that I no longer play or manage, I can be objective. And I have to sit here and say, in the spirit of the game, I prefer that not to happen. Even though it's young Michael Owen, I'm sure most people out there don't want to get goals by cheating, which is what it is. And it happened. The other lad has had much more practice over the years for Argentina, and he did it much more successfully in a way.
Jim, there's two fellas sat here amongst four who've done it throughout their careers, by the way.
Sorry.
By the way.
You're not suggesting that these...
Both of them.
On either side of us
Both
here
of them,
tonight...
by the way.
I'd like to make the point, that's a split-second decision, right?
Yeah.
If you feel
And
you're
you've
getting nudged,
taken
you
lots
get
of
down. The point I'm trying to
and
make
you've
is
taken lots of them.
Simeone jumps up, right, and goes like that, tries to get somebody a yellow
out of
card.
order.
That's out of order.
We all agree on that.
If somebody nudges you, you've got a split second to say, is it enough to go down? That, I would never criticise somebody for that.
That was confession, wasn't it? Is it enough to go down?
No. Well,
It's part and parcel.
I didn't think so.
What about his goal?
His goal was fantastic. I mean, it was what a brilliant piece of skill. One of the goals of the tournament.
And his finish is just sensational, because you should leave it to Scholes. He doesn't leave it to Scholes.
should
and he
You know,
sticks.
he wide to give himself a chance to make the space and get in the shot.
What about that touch? Mark, what about the touch?
Brilliant. And just took him away from Shamrock straight away, that's the thing.
Yeah.
Bit of strength again. I mean, the guy had no chance of catching him full flight, and the finish was...
I love the way
outstanding.
he wouldn't let Scholes have it. I've done all the work. Get out the way.
Right as well.
My goal.
Does that remind you of anybody
Jimmy, have you ever? Oh yeah.
who was playing
Ali.
not all that long ago?
I never have got there.
But not that
Jimmy,
pace.
Sorry.
how good? I mean, he's 18 years old. Have you ever seen a kid, an English player, with so much
No.
potential as this?
Absolutely breathtaking. And he seems calm in himself, you know, sensible young man. We've seen, well, something that wasn't sporting tonight, and also this season, I think there was another occasion where he let himself down a little bit by being too fiery. But on the other hand, you know, nobody is perfect except in his football skills, which are exceptional. Sensible father, sensible family, sensible club. I mean, what a future. And although it's a sad night tonight, we're going to have the pleasure of watching him, I hope, for many, many years.
And one or two World Cups as well, I'm sure. 2-1 to England, Mark. Scholes had a great chance.
Didn't really do a lot wrong with it either, Gary, as well. I think it's not at the target, but you'd be very, very hard-pressed to criticise him. Very, very difficult chance. And the fact that he's got there is, again, as you talked about Owen for England, Scholes has been another bonus for them, getting forward from midfield. The only one since Platt did it.
I would have thought the only criticism you can make there is, as you said, he doesn't hit the target, because he came in and there's a lovely surface on it, and he just tries to direct it back into the corner, and unfortunately goes on the wrong side of the post.
Jimmy, we were looking terrific at that stage. 2-1 ahead, playing great stuff, and then just before half-time, I mean, it didn't look a free kick to me.
No, I thought Sol Campbell was particularly unlucky, really, to get a free kick given against him. See, the guy's backing into him here, and he's ready to fall. He's falling over the top of the ball. Sol spreads his arms wide. I haven't found...
It's obviously rehearsed and they do it in training, but I'll bet you they can only do it 1 time out of 5 in training. That's how difficult that would be. You've just seen executed the perfect free kick, and the thrill they must have get out of that, of working it in training, and the finish itself, the touch, the pass, the finish was superb.
Yeah. I just want to come back to that Sol Campbell thing, because when the guy backs into you like that, what do you do except put your hands up?
That's right.
You know, I mean, if you look at what happened before that, he's backing into him like this, so you put your hands up, but he didn't push.
But
and that was
even more important, we've already mentioned it, the Beckham sending off. And Mark, what do you think?
Well, it was never a sending off, basically. It was an awful foul in the first instance, when the ball gets just played out. Here we see with Beckham. Simeone charged into the back of him, and eventually, it took us a while to work out eventually what he got sent off for, Beckham. There's a yellow for Simeone. They're all having a good moan-up. And I mean, straight away, we thought for a moment whether Nielsen, the referee, had words with Beckham and Beckham had said something to him, but as we'll see very, very shortly, this is obviously what he's got sent off for, Gary. Flicked out.
Excellent, but is it a sending off?
It's a yellow. It's a maximum yellow card, that's it. It is not a sending off offence.
Gary,
sorry.
I don't care what anybody says.
Look, he can't be seeing where he's kicking. Look, he's looking at our angle now, and that's going on behind him.
Yeah, but he still flicks out at somebody,
Well, he
Jim.
flicks out.
So it's a yellow. It's a yellow card.
Basically, they're basically cheating us watching that game, because the referee, 5-10 years ago, the referee says, get up and don't be so silly, get on with it. If that's a sending off, I'll eat my hat.
No.
He lifts his leg, there's nothing malicious in it. It's pathetic. The sending off's a joke.
But that spoiled the whole game as a game of football. For everybody looking at it around the world.
It's not 11 against 11 anymore.
Okay, Jimmy, we're just running out of time, so let's have a look at the Campbell disallowed goal, because that
a game. The one was about that particular one, but the one afterwards that comes up, I think that there is a grumble.
Yeah, it's one of the few things that the ref probably got right, Mark.
Yeah, he had a poor game, Gary, and I was talking to Jimmy before the game. I said, "I'll be all right tonight." As a good referee, this Nielsen, generally, but he had a stinker. He had an absolute stinker.
Overall, though, quick impression of England's performance in this World Cup.
I thought it was brave. If you say perfect, people will say, well, how are we out? They did many things right, and there are a lot of players who should be very proud of their performance for England. Shearer as captain, you can say Ince, Campbell, you can pick them out. You know, there are a lot of heroes, and they didn't get the luck they deserved.
Well, I certainly think we all agree with that tonight. Gents, thanks very much. Well, we've been here before, but it doesn't make it any easier to bear. Good night.